How are you doing, first of all?
Oh, that was a very exciting weekend. Still processing everything.
How long did you sleep last night?
5 hours maybe?
Oh, wow. Did you have to wake up early today?
Yeah, for sure. Working.
And you guys were celebrating on comms yesterday night, I guess.
Yeah, and also sleeping after such a day is a hard thing to do.
Because you're so hyped up, right?
It's just pure adrenaline, yeah.
Oh, by the way, Kemper, you won. Um, give me a name, Kemper. It wasn't rigged.
We actually had some players that took their days off for today. Just to cure.
Did you guys have players from Asian countries?
No, I don't think so. That would not work with our training schedule.
Oh yeah. Oh right. So, since you already brought up the topic, the training. So, someone in chat asked how many hours in total, or how often you trained. Like, how much in total you think you trained in hours?
We assembled our team very early after the AT announcement and then basically started right off with 3 trainings a week.
So, when was the IT announcement?
I'm not sure, 2 or 3 months beforehand.
So, 3 months, and how often did you?
It was end of July we started.
All right. Let's say not July. August.
Maybe we want to start with introducing ourselves first.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is Soldier Forrester, won the AT yesterday, and we also have Soldat here, and he also trained with you guys, but wasn't able to play because he broke his arm.
Mate, I'm a bit more than that. Jesus fuck. Oh wait, you can't do that here, huh?
Well, I'm completely clueless mostly, so you have to forgive me.
Hi.
Are we allowed to
Soldier
swear here?
Forrester. Yeah, can you say the bad words?
I think so. Yeah, because it's set to adult.
All right, cool.
Okay, Jesus fuck. My name is Soldat. You can find me in game as Dark Soldat. I've been flying with Hydra since 80. Well, I've been flying with Hydra for longer, but I've been flying tournaments since 89. You can also find me online as the best, aka the best logistics pilot in the online history. Thank you very much.
Ooh, I don't know how Misty feels about that.
He will feel undisputed. He will feel undisputed.
He will feel undisputed that you are the best.
Yes.
Because I saw him do weird shit with a long point on a solo simi. I mean, I've never seen that before, but I haven't seen you fly before, so I don't know. All right, so the best Logi pilot in AT history. So how often have you won the AT?
Oh man. Are you familiar with the term sins of our father?
No.
Are you familiar with what happened in 89?
89, no.
10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
10 years ago, a curse was placed on the Alliance, Hydra Reloaded.
But you broke the curse this year, right?
We broke the curse 10 years later, mate.
Who spoke? Who spoke out the curse?
I have something written down here. So, after the sins of 89, this cursed alliance has been in 10 years of tournament purgatory, a record of 4 second place alliance tournament finishes, a first place alliance tournament ban. We watched our practice partners win the alliance tournament 3 times. Every year we hope the AT gods will end our suffering. Every year they look down and whisper, no. Life is suffering. Tournament is suffering. Tournament is life.
Wow, that's pretty deep and poetic. But I still have the calculator up and I want to undock to show like fireworks in the background. So, how many times per week did you guys train?
Pretty much consistently 3 times.
How many hours per those 3 times, approximately?
That depends. It can be like around 3 hours, I would say.
All right, and for about 3 months.
Yep.
So it's not just practicing, right? So for about, I would say, 5 people, winning the tournament is effectively a full-time job for 3 months. So it's about 40 hours a week, if not more, for about 5 people. And for the rest, it's just the practice schedule plus matches.
So it's only 108 hours for the rest, and full-time job for 5 people who are taking a break from work at that time, or what are those 5 people doing? Just not sleeping?
Well, yeah, no, well, no. They wake up, they go to work, and they come home, and then they do tournament stuff, and they go to sleep, and they wake up, and they go home, and they do tournament stuff, and they go sleep.
And do those 5 people have girlfriends or significant others who are gonna be super mad?
They have boyfriends mostly.
Uh-huh. And they are understanding?
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of space under the table.
Oh, I see. I don't know if that's gonna go on YouTube. I don't know. um, Also, chat. I speak German. Soldier also speaks German. If you have questions in German, we can also answer them. And feel free to ask questions throughout. I'm not sure how much the highlighting costs, but it would help if you would highlight the questions, or like Rabel did, do a big Q and double dots before the question so we can see like what is a legit question. So the training super long, and for the 5, I guess, theory crafters, it was more. Did you guys also spy on other teams? Try to figure out what they're doing? Or is that secret?
It's not secret. I posted a video on my YouTube channel about it.
Oh, so did you do that last year or something? Because I think I saw a video.
We have done that previously as well. I think the previous video is on Suetonia's channel. I think that one is called "You're No Riley."
Mm-hmm. Nice. So I guess, well, I guess there's a bunch of tricks on how to spy on it, but maybe also something super elaborate, like selling ships on a loss in Cheetah cheaper, so you see what they buy and in what quantities.
There are lots of really weird mechanics you can abuse. The thing is, spying on Thunderdome is not allowed. So once they actually opened the Thunderdome training server, there was no more spying. So with the spying, we only got a view of the very early on meta everyone was training on the test server.
Hold on, guys. I had to change the headsets because otherwise we're gonna get some reverb into the audio line. Sorry, guys. I'm a new bro at interviewing people. So, for the people who don't know what Thunderdome is, how would you guys describe it?
It's just another Eve mirror on a separate server. And we get given out logins, and it's a special way to connect to it with the launcher. And yeah, once you're in it, you create a new account, and you have more special dev commands you can use, like /give_all_skills super, and your character instantly has over 500 million skill points, just everything 5.
Oh wow!
And you can also like generate fittings out of nothing with a couple dev commands, which makes it much easier to fit stuff up.
Yeah. Also, you're not relying on any markets or anything. So I guess it's like the test server, but with perks, and it's better. And you guys also always take fake names and different pictures, I guess, when you make that on the test server, because someone could still be spying, or does...
No, like I said, spying on Thunderdome is not really a thing. And it makes sense to actually have a name you are used to and you will have in a tournament, so you can always call your own name out.
He means on CC. But on CC, we just use our own stuff usually because you can protect yourselves from spying. Like, spying is literally just a lot of effort. There's really isn't that many tricks to it. It's just you have to spend some time on it. And it's mostly just annoying, and the good teams will avoid it anyway.
I meant on Thunderdome, but I guess it's forbidden there. And is it also not possible there because you could teleport yourself in a very different area and nobody else could enter, or how is that mechanic working?
You could enter the same system, but you're not allowed to.
You don't want to get banned from the tournament. It's like not a good time. I've been banned twice, I think.
Oh, wow. How did that happen?
Well, the entire team got banned in AT10, and then we got banned posthumously, I think 8012 or whenever we won.
Oh, was that where you colluded with Vidra? Or you
Oh
were.
no, we didn't collude. We've never colluded with anyone, actually.
But what was the official given reason why you were banned?
Oh yeah, effectively, since '89, we have been on CCP's bad books. So anytime like anything even remotely sketchy comes out, even if it has like no basis or proof to it, it's like, okay, yeah, you're gone. Sorry.
Oh,
And it
I
was
see.
funny because we won, we received our prize ships, and then we got banned, and then CCP removed the prize ships from people's inventory.
It
Oh,
created the
wow.
legendary 51st imp because one imp was in a container and didn't get removed.
Oh, because they
And then
couldn't
50 new ones were given out.
search for it, or they couldn't remove it.
They just did some database fetching, and apparently whatever they did didn't consider containers.
And now everyone who wins the AT has their shit in the container for 5 months, just to make sure.
Possibly.
Did you guys already receive your AT ships?
No, they are not even finished with the stats yet. Otherwise, they would have probably released the stats.
Oh, I didn't know that
But
the stats weren't out.
yeah, Rise Vive went into labor, so he didn't have the time to finish them.
Even at best of times, it takes about a month to get the ships, but usually it takes up to 3 months, and you really have to like hound the CCP guys to finish them up and hand them out because yeah, it's not really high priority for them, as you can imagine.
Yeah, of course not. Also,
We are
you
still waiting for
guys.
medals from previous tournaments before
Oh
this one.
wow. Yeah, that you get on your character, right? That you're like
Yeah.
second in the tournament. But well, also with Volta, at least when I was watching, was often ending up second, and sometimes ECM had something to do with that. How was that? I saw a match and I forgot about it, I think, again. But you guys, I think, had double Hyena and they had double Kitsune, and you guys were perma-jammed on the Hyenas?
Yeah,
Or
I won against Volta.
that was against Volta?
Yeah,
The irony, huh?
feels bad.
Oh,
You know
man.
what? It's
Yeah?
not the ECM why they lost. They lost because they're bad at the game.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. But I
No,
thought
I'm just
you
kidding.
guys lost that match, didn't you?
No, we lost, and I'm talking about like the team, as in the team was being bad.
Of course, and that's why they got second in the AT, which is one of the most competitive things in, well, not in esport in general, because other people have to train like for a year, but I mean, it's super competitive, and from what I've heard, the quality is only going up. The piloting goes up, the theory crafting goes up, or am I wrong? Did they misinform me?
What do you think, Soldier?
This is really developing to more complexity, and there's more and more interested players in this.
See, I disagree. I felt that the Alliance tournament has slowly gotten slightly easier year by year. Like, there's been like I think AT13 was a really easy year in like overall because like the quality of teams was bad because most of the top teams just skipped that year for some reason. And since then, there haven't been really like any meta upsets. So beforehand, you would have to worry about meta breaking setups that are just so out of the box. You can't, like, most people can't imagine them. One team comes up with it. And then mid tournament, you have to re gear your entire strategy to deal with that, like, particular archetype of setup. We didn't really see
But
that this year.
well, this year you guys brought out the remote cap transferring cruise missile battleships, which was kind
Which was
of.
shown in the feeders. So it wasn't a new setup
Oh,
even.
oh, I see. So I guess it was something known, but none of the good teams have used it in the AT thus far as I'm informed. I didn't see anyone else bring that kind of stuff and pull it off.
Well, because of these resistant nerfs with that one patch where everything got like 40% less hate resistance,
Yeah.
everything developed very DPS heavy. Like everyone was expecting this to be much more DPS heavy and many more rush comps. So these Tinkers really rely on holding out and tanking with their core ships. And even if you lose one of these core ships, that really hurts that whole setup.
Sure,
So
sure.
no one expected it to be this strong. And when they tested it against their strong DPS setups, they usually killed him.
Oh, so the Tinker setups lost usually?
Yeah.
Oh, so who did you guys train against or with? I guess mostly.
Our main training partner is Hydra.
And only Vidra and no one else?
Pretty much exclusively them, yes. Of course, when we have to consider that we will face Hydra at some point, we need to think of things that they have never seen before.
Are you guys also internally? Do you have enough numbers of people training that you can internally play against yourselves? Like split the team in two and then
I
test
believe we
stuff
did
out.
it once or twice, but no, we did not have enough people usually.
So for the viewers, just to give a little background, Vidra and Hydra are considered like the top tier of AT teams, and also they're often in like the top three at least. And then they are training partners, but they're often fighting each other in the end. And one time they got excluded and removed from their winning position because they were alleged to have colluded, like, oh yeah, we're gonna throw this match, you're gonna get that, but like something like that, right? I don't really know the whole backstory, but something along those lines. Collusion.
That was before my time.
Ah, okay. That's an elegant answer.
Well, to be fair, so the backstory on that goes back to 89 again. And what happened in 89 was these rules didn't exist back then. AT was very much like Eve back then, where it was very Wild West and it didn't have any rules that were not in the spirit of Eve Online. So in those days, you would often see mid-tournament, the match stops and the teams start negotiating in local to see how much it would cost for one team to throw the match against the other.
Or
this,
maybe
this no, this happened several times throughout the, like 88 and 89 legitimately. Like this was a thing that happened and people sort of just accepted it like, oh yeah, it's Eve Online, of course, you know.
it's kind of fun too, but for the viewer who's watching the AT, they never get to see those local chats. Did also in this AT, did it ever happen where one team was like, "Hey, we're gonna go to the feeders. Please don't kill our flagship. Let it live, and you're gonna win by points."
See, now they would get banned from the tournament for colluding if they did that.
Ah.
They can thank us for that rule because we kind of messed up the 89 finals.
Well, I guess they can. Well, there's so many questions coming up in my head, but also Graybill asked another great question. What are your guys' favorite comps? This AT maybe an all-time AT, like the favorite comp that you just liked flying the most. Doesn't have to be like the most efficient or anything, but that was your personal favorite to fly.
Well, for this one, I certainly gotta say the Armor Nightmares. Like, who would expect that?
All right, fair enough.
I
And
enjoyed the Armor Nightmares.
yeah, I
My
enjoyed
favorite comp,
watching it.
my favorite comp isn't from this tournament.
Yeah.
It's the most legendary comp that we've ever devised in the history of EVE Online. Probably the most expensive one too, even including, and this is before flagships.
What was it?
It was called Purple Mistress of the Shadow.
Ah, of course.
And can you explain what it is?
It waited 3 years to be fielded. It was conceptualized in 89, and it wasn't, I think, until 8012 that we actually got a chance to field it. It was a triple Widow, triple Cambion with an Etana setup.
Oh boy, can you walk me and the viewers through what the Widow is a Black Ops battleship, and it has bonuses to various missiles, torpedoes, cruise, and rapid heavies. And I guess you use them to tinker. I'm not really sure. And can
Yeah,
you explain the other two AT ships, what their bonuses are and what they're really good at? And for the viewers, those AT ships are worth 140 billion at least, something around that.
Way more, way
Way
more.
more. All right. Yeah. Can you walk us through, please?
So yeah, the Widow. So the meta has changed. Like there's been probably an endless amount of patches since this setup was conceptualized and fielded. But yeah, it was a Widow semi-turtle. So it was a 10-man setup with 3 Widows as the core. The Widows had, I think, about I can't even remember how many jams each, but yeah, the Widows would be jamming the enemy, would be applying damage, I think, with cruises. Then the support wing was also putting out substantial damage because the Cambion is an Alliance tournament prize ship worth several hundred billion each. Very rare, very hard to get hold of because it's one of the actually better prize ships that have come out. It's very useful in practice because it's a frigate that does a lot of damage. I think each Cambion, I can't even remember, between 3 and 400 DPS was put out, I think.
I think in heat they can push 470 DPS.
Yeah,
Basically a mini
so you know
Drake. They
better,
can have
yeah.
over 20,000 DHP.
Yeah, very tanky, very, very high damage frigates. So back then, the AT ships could be fielded in the tournament, and they would cost the same as a regular frigate, for example. So they were very low cost. They were very tanky. They put out a lot of damage, and they were the core of. They were the support wing of the setup. So they would, and anyone that comes in, they would come in, screen it, tackle it, basically kill it, while the Widows focused on the enemy big ships. And obviously you have the logistics ship within the Stinker, which was an Etana, and also a tournament prize ship, probably one of the more expensive tournament prize ships as well, which had crazy resistance bonuses, a bonus to shield booster as well, I think, and we had an extra large ancillary on it. So the Widows would cap transfer the Etana, and the Etana would tank, and then the Etana also had, I think it had 8 high slots, and you could get 7 large reps on it with the XL ancillary. So it repped all the Widows properly as well. So yeah, it wasn't the strongest setup. It was very, very difficult to execute, but it was extremely, extremely beautiful, and it was a really darn shame we couldn't field it sooner.
Also takes a bunch of balls to risk all those AT ships, right?
Yeah, it does.
Because
Except, you know,
there might have been comps that are so wacky and outlandish that they could have killed 1 or 2, even if you would have won the match.
Yeah, and I think we lost like 1 or 2 Cambions in the sort of matches that we fielded it.
And hello to the people who are saying hi in chat. Casper, you're obviously welcome to come on comms as well. Just let me know on in the stream chat, then I'm going to invite you on the Discord. Discord link is below the screen. There was a viewer question earlier for you, Casper, and since you have the name Casper24 for losing 4 times or getting second place, which is basically winning, but since you got that 4 times and like your name says 24, are you going to rename yourself, and what are you going to rename yourself to? Maybe Casper number 1 now?
Renaming
I'm gonna
character
wait
is
for
kind
that
of a hard
reply.
thing to do.
Yeah, I know.
But I know for sure that the Amamaka Keepstar is going to be renamed.
What is it named now?
Probably something winning.
Oh.
No, right now it's named 4-time almost 80 winners.
So Casper speaks in the third person and says Casper doesn't have to play Eve anymore. Oh, I guess you're done with your mission of winning the tournament. 4 times second place winner. Well, it's really winning if you're getting into the top something where you get the nice prize ships, right? I mean, it's not that bad coming in second in an AT.
Debatable. When you have the expectations to go higher.
And
because the expectation is to win both first and second place. We can't really do that feat anymore. So we kind of peaked, and now it's just, you'll never reach that kind of high ever again.
I guess, but Soldier, what was your expectation going into this, and how stressed were you during this weekend, and how mindfucked were you when you guys dropped down to the losers bracket and had you to fight your way through again to the final match. Like, how was that experience?
It was rough. That were a lot more matches than expected. We were all super nervous. Usually the first matches are the ones where you just really shaky and you try to fly something easy to make it easier on your pilots. And then with the later matches, people calm down, make more calm decisions, and you can fly harder stuff as well. But yeah, that was rough and made us doubt ourselves. Maybe a little bit.
And
it was very strategic, though.
oh, so
Of
it
course,
was
it's all for the skins.
Yeah, of course.
Not only the skins, so you can see we've lost to Hydra. We've lost to Hydra several times in the finals. Now, the best of 5 format of the finals is very difficult to deal with. We recognize that.
Yeah.
So, how do you combat this conundrum, right? How do you combat the situation? You drop down to the losers bracket and you knock them out in the best of 3 that you know you can win.
So you're saying
And then you go and easy win the finals.
The issue about facing your training partner is that you know everything about yourself, each other, and in these repeating matches, like even in your training, you start to develop a meta and a direction you push your different setups into. And when you know each other so well, and you're in a best of 5 or really a long series, you need to start thinking outside of the box, and that's where the really bad decisions are usually made.
Yeah, I often get the feeling, especially now that since we got betting sort of back because you could win with those channel points watching CCP, the skins. I had the feeling often when I saw really outlandish comms on grid and I bet on that team, I was like, oh no. They're gonna try something they haven't practiced a lot, maybe. And they're gonna try to, meta offset and maybe rattle the enemy a little bit or just work around the bans. And then I was often thinking, oh boy, this is not gonna go right. And then I lost my channel points, of course. Are you guys serious? You lost on purpose to Volta to go down to losers bracket to not having to face Hydra in the final 5?
I've never made a joke in my life.
No, of course not, right?
We were mostly hoping someone would beat Hydra before we would have to.
So yeah, you guys were already thinking about that whole. Oh boy, like that's where you see where the expectation lies, guys. They were already thinking about, oh, we don't want to do those 5 matches against our training partner. Hopefully someone else takes them out.
Yeah, I mean, of course we are rooting them. They are our bros, but
yeah,
don't actually want to face this.
Yeah, because you guys.
Also,
yeah,
it's not as fun seeing Hydra versus Hydra in the finals. I guess that's a bit disappointing for the viewers.
Why is it more disappointing?
We've had it before, and our names are very similar. And I mean,
That's
we've had
true.
issues with all this collusion before, and we are glad we don't have to face any accusations this time again.
True. Oh yeah, true. Because, yeah, makes sense. How stressful were those last 3 matches? What were the most stressful matches for you guys?
Love you, mean it.
I would say the best of 3 against Volta, because that was the first series we had to play, I think. And after we played our first match, we got teleported back into our staging station, and then the GM told us we have 4 minutes to submit our ban.
Oh.
Which is really rough. In this time, we need to consider what do we have fitted and on comms ready that we can still use, and we need to analyze what is our enemy going to do and how can we counter that. 4 minutes is really close for that. And then, like, after you have made that decision, there's 6 minutes left, and you still need to form your fleet, get your players, who's going to fly which ship, and get your ship pools, get your ships onto the players, get your implants sorted out, and maybe do last-minute fitting adjustments. That's a lot to do in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Completely.
And you have to listen to 2 minutes of music while you get moved to the system. So really, you're like a 2-minute handicap off the start.
Yeah, that's a bit of a thing we do in Hydra. Just play music, calm our players down, get hyped up.
Oh. Also, you guys are then vibing on the same frequency, maybe.
Hell yeah.
Did you guys make did any of you guys in the winning team make a fitting mistake or bring the wrong ammo or something like that during this alliance tournament? And does that happen a lot?
As far as we know, nothing like that happened, but maybe the person that did it doesn't want to tell us.
That there was
No,
also
that
one.
happens often.
Does it? Okay.
No, not for us, but for other teams. Like, you have to understand the tournament is very infrastructure intensive.
Yeah.
So oftentimes you'll be sitting in the tournament system, and the GM will put in local that, oh yeah, I had to move this guy back because he didn't fit his ship at all.
Just an empty hull.
Especially in the finals, that has happened several times because people literally are just buying off the market, like on the spot within those like 10-15 minutes, and then they just forget like half their fit or whatever.
Yeah, but it's understandable because they're probably tunnel visioning. Did you tunnel vision, Soldier, yesterday or on Saturday?
I was meditating and doing sports beforehand, trying to avoid this, taking the breaks we need. But yes, of course it happens.
Oh wow! So you got the PvP shakes for real during the matches?
Always.
Always, really? Wow! Shit! I thought you guys were already, so many practice hours that you guys are just like so cool because it seems when when you watch you guys when I'm watching you guys flying and piloting, I don't see any obvious mistakes or any or
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Some of our members have these heart monitors or their smartwatches, and the big shakes happen before the match. Like in that preparation time, and you really start to overthink everything, that's where the shakes happen. But once you're moved and you're actually in the arena and you see what you face, and especially when you've trained against it or know what you do, then you can actually calm down and focus on a match and play concentrated.
Are you familiar with nervous poops?
That's a thing, yes.
No, that's a serious consideration.
It
Because
is,
imagine
yeah.
in a series, you get moved back to the station. You have the 10 minutes to get ready. You have 2 minutes of a song. You have 8 minutes to get ready, and you get nervous poops. Like, it's like the 17th time that day you're pooping because you're so nervous.
Aww.
When you're like us in the third series, like you play the first best of 3, the second best of 3, then the best of 5, you're busy there for like 4 hours sitting in front of your computer.
Mido was asking, he heard that Soldat was a good logistics pilot. Why wasn't he flying?
Uh, I had a medical emergency. I ripped my pectoral off my arm, and I didn't have my arm for like half the practice time, so it wasn't really something I could do. So I relegated myself to possibly the second greatest logistics pilot in EVE Online, General Hungary. Thank you very much.
And what tier would you rate Misty?
I don't know, like, what do you mean tier? Like 1
Like,
to 10, or
if you're
ABC?
saying you're the best and he's the second best, where comes Misty into the place?
I don't think he's even worth mentioning. In that.
This is getting better. I'm enjoying myself so much. Thank you guys. Well, I didn't thank you yet for coming on, but thank you now. But we're not even halfway done. One thing that really interests me, are you gonna fly your AT ships on TQ? And can I do fly? One time?
I'm certainly planning to do, yes. But one hole is a thing, and we
Can
need to be really careful about it.
can I sit in one time and fly it a little bit outside of something where it's dangerous and I don't have the ISK to replace it if it dies?
I don't think so.
Oh,
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. That sounds good. That sounds good enough for me. I already have a plan to test, like just to fly them on the test server, a bunch of them, and make YouTube videos about them because I think people would be interested how it is to sit in an AT ship, even if it's just on a test server where it can't
Yeah,
die.
usually
Really.
the fresh ones actually get seeded into the test server, so you can buy them off the market and test for yourself a bit.
Oh boy, yeah, probably should do that. But actually, the first one I'm gonna do is the bomber, and Sutonia is gonna, give it to me on the test server. All right, but more questions from the viewers. We had a bunch. Some of them were a bit trolly questions, but that's fine too. We have Soldat here. I think he can counter everything. Oh, yeah, question for Soldat. Where are you from? Are you Norwegian? Someone in chat was asking.
I'm from the glorious People's Republic of Latvistan.
I think you said that a bit wrong, didn't you?
No, that is the official name.
Oh, really? Yeah. I only know.
It is in the party handbook, after all.
I only know you guys are hardcore. That's what I heard.
I mean, best EVE Online logistics players are from here, so yeah.
Okay, another question from Sergeant Nunzi. If there was one thing you could change about the AT, what would it be and why? And how do you think the chances would influence the setup / building of the fleet? So those were kind of two questions.
That's a rough one. I would say the ship limitations we had placed onto us were a bit heavy, trying to get this complicated meta developed. Just like the only being allowed to bring 3 ships of each type, these rules were a bit limiting, I think. It denied us some really fun things you can do.
Yeah, the 5 bomber rush. Who doesn't know it? No, I'm just kidding. It's probably a stupid idea. But on the other hand, since we're already on that topic, when the announcers explained the rules for the last 5 matches, I was like, oh, hopefully it's gonna be over in 3 because I can't imagine what to bring if you already won and then maybe the other team also won and they're blocked with these ships that they already used, right? So the ships you won in are blocked for the next matches. And then also the bans block more ships. And then you also have to consider what might the enemy bring, how could I counter it, is my comp going to be bad against that? How stressed were you team leaders, and how many team leaders did you have? I don't even know. I think on paper it's 1, but maybe it's like several people deciding the meta stuff.
For the first part, yeah, that gets really complicated. I believe for the third match, we already had 20 ships we weren't allowed to field. So if you are not like a super theory crafty team and don't have that many comps, that can really be an issue.
Then you have to make a comp on the fly.
That can happen, yeah.
No, you pull one out of the trash can. Do you know how many comps we had? 98.
Casper said earlier that you're not supposed to leak intel. Or what did he say? He said no leaks. But 98 comps. And how many of those did you actually use in the AT? I didn't count.
Oh, I love the variety we actually used. I think we used almost a different comp every time. No, well, the Marauder one repeated itself with like the archetype with the Scorpion navies.
Yeah.
And
I think that was only twice, right?
Yeah.
But everything else was repeated. Was not repeated. So how many matches did you have in total?
I think we also fielded Shrapnel twice, which is the Kaiji
Providence twice.
Oh, right, as well. Yes, the Abaddon Oracle one we did twice.
Oh, that one looked really strong, man.
Yeah.
So, wait. So another question, because I didn't count. How many matches did you have in like yesterday night, in the evening, in total? A fuck ton, right?
Let me count. That is 5.
I can also bring up the.
That was 8 matches, I believe.
8 matches, and I think it within a few hours, within like 4 hours, I think, or 5 maybe.
Yep.
Oh boy. And did you even get to have a full dinner in between?
Oh no, but you're so full of adrenaline, you're not hungry anyways. I ate some sugar.
Are you guys full of energy drinks on those, or is it too risky because you would need to go to the toilet too often?
I don't drink that stuff because it makes me less concentrated and more tunnel visioned, but others do.
Well, that's some nerd stuff right there. Doesn't think energy drinks, bro. Who does that? Dude, we're pounding monsters like it's fucking water, bro.
I guess there is different opinions about that. Yes, Chebak, there should be a video link. If you look at the CCP stream page, you can look the video on demand and you can watch the old matches because, man, like I think that last day as a whole is worth rewatching.
It was actually 9 matches for us yesterday. And
9
we were
matches.
still lucky. It could have been way more in the finals.
Yeah, right, because you won in the third. And that was it.
Yeah. And we also killed w.Hydras with the first 2 matches.
Do you think you might have lost if you would have needed to be doing more matches against w.Hydra? And just out of, exhaustion or, loss of concentration and focus?
No, we're like 8 monsters deep. There is no loss of concentration or focus. You're wired, like you might as well be doing cocaine.
Well, while we did not have many players, and fatigue is certainly a thing, I think we also did a good job switching around a bit and trying to get good players into every match. So
How
we have
many-
the best chance of winning.
That's another good question. So the total amount of players you can maximum have is 10, right? Or am I wrong?
Yes.
And how many people did you have in the team ready to roll on yesterday, on Sunday?
I believe it was 18.
All right, so you got 8 people you can switch around, and every one of those is like competent to, be switched out. Or do you have like?
The thing is, you have certain players that specialize in certain things. Like you have people that are good at tackling. You have link pilots that usually always position themselves centrally, so everyone gets links. You have damage dealers or like specialized logi pilots. So some of these players are really important, and you can't switch them out.
I have a very specific question just for the last match. When Annie was doing the ramming, when he was trying to bump you off away from each other. So for the viewers, they had a Tinker comp, which means they need to be in remote cap transfer range of each other. And I think that's very small range, like 6K or something. What is the optimal? I think it's not very, even for like large stuff, it's not very far, right?
I would have to check, but yeah, certainly hugging each other.
Hugging each other. And you have no prop mod. So if you get bumped off really far, that's it for that ship.
Yeah. The golems are kind of nice for that because they can mute everything that tries to bump them. So if they fuck up their first bumps, they start to run out of cap and can't burn anymore.
Yeah.
The Scorpion navies obviously didn't have that opportunity.
And how scared were you guys that the bumping would work? And did you guys try to actively manually pilot in a way that he's gonna miss the bump?
We were not very worried because we tested it and it just didn't seem viable enough to
How do
really
you
bump
see
these things apart.
August?
And you tested that stuff too. Wow.
But-
Oh, wow.
I mean, we knew it was a thing, but we just said, yeah, no one's going to do that against us. And then they really surprised us doing that successfully. And we had to adapt on the fly in the match.
Wow.
But by adapt, he means die.
Scream at each other a bit more.
How much are you guys gonna release videos of the comms and of the fights from, like from within one player's perspective?
I'm not sure if anyone frapped it. Like, I have all the audio, but I don't think anyone recorded it.
I would just be interested in the audio alone, because for people who have never experienced it, I saw 1 or 2 practice, or no, I think even match videos, but older ones from IT teams, and the amount of communication, if you haven't been in one of those teams, if you haven't flown small gang with the same kind of people, they're saying all relevant information, like, oh, this guy got a scram, and this guy webs me, and I put damage on this guy because I don't have range on this guy, and so on, and you need to come close to logi range, blah, blah, blah. Like, they say all of that stuff at the same time, and I think if it's an ECM comp with like 2 or 3 ECM ships, it's gonna be even more mayhem. And they say all of that at the same time, and their brains are already so tuned and so used to the other people's voices that they're only listening to the stuff that they need to know in that situation with their ship. Or can you guys go into it? Am I explaining it right?
It's really crazy how your brain starts to filter out things you don't need to know and really start to listen to the important calls for you. I guess that also comes with practice and a lot of experience.
Yeah, knowing all the voices by heart, and even sometimes I noticed when I know a person really well and fly with them often, I can detect if they're already in structure by the tone of their voice, or
Well,
if they're in a bad situation, or like what they're doing, you can just determine by the tone.
it's like when you come home from work to your husband, right? And he starts telling you about his day and you don't really care. So you're just like not really listening, but then like something comes up that you're interested in and then you just hear that part. It's kind of like that.
That's a great analogy. Did you see what I did there? Nah, probably most people don't.
It's funny. It's funny because butt sex, sex in the butt.
Now you had to spell it out. I mentioned it before, but did any of you guys or your teammates' private life suffer because your significant other was super mad that you were practicing twice a week or 3 times a week for an online spaceship things? I mean, I tried to watch the AT with some friends I have, and they were so not interested, and we had to watch rom-com on Saturday. So how was that for you guys? Did you suffer any losses in that regard for the Alliance tournament? What were the big sacrifices for the AT?
Have you heard of the term voluntary celibacy? In some cases, involuntary celibacy.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I guess that
there have
answers.
been divorces as well,
but not this year.
I don't know, Soldier. How's your sex life?
Doing fine. I mean, we're all very invested into this game, and it's our passion and our hobby. And if you have a good partner, it's gonna be all right, and you can organize around the fixed training dates you do.
That sounds
Notice how
very
he
wholesome.
said partner.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Sorry, Hans Former, the ruffle is turned off. It's gonna go on later. I need to fix something. Do you guys in the Twitch chat have any more questions? Because I almost ran through my entire paper. Oh, somebody asked about. Oh, yeah. There's 2 more things I'm interested in. Somebody in the Twitch chat asked about shield phantasms. If any of your comps had any of those.
Probably. We basically had almost everything, but nothing we seriously considered using.
I wouldn't have thought so. So someone else was asking in Twitch chat earlier if you guys consider bombers with bomb launchers and bombs. I think I already know the answer, but maybe you guys just go for it and maybe explain the utility of bombers and what they usually do in the AT.
Bombers are really great for killing top-end ships, like Volta did against us to kill our bar guests. They managed to get their bombers survive long enough to trade much better against us. On the other hand, bombs are not actually that common anymore. We saw the use of them also in this AT, but now we have Edencom ships, which are great at killing drones as well. So which is usually the main use.
Yeah. So did you guys ever field bombers with offline bomb launchers or with damage bombs in them, just in case you find you counter something where it would be useful to online it as you land on grid?
And not in this year, I think.
Oh, all right. Not much for bombers. You mentioned the 2 manticores, I think it was, that were hounding your top end ships in one of the matches against Volta. I didn't really see it on the screen. Maybe the cameraman didn't show it, or I didn't pay enough attention. But how far approximately were those bombers away from you guys? Were they super long range?
I was in an Osprey Navy there, and we were called to kill those bombers, but
yeah, you got
they were out of range quickly. I saw them burning from 60 to 90 away from me.
So they had, yeah, because the torpedo range got so much better. Application is still pretty bad if the target isn't slow, but I guess they were grappled down. So your Osprey Navy, I think off the top of my head, I guess it was Rapid Light or was it Heavy Fit?
Yeah, they had Rapids.
So that should be a range of like 67 kilometers or something, and they were burning at 90. But you guys did your job well because they died relatively quickly then too. But I guess
We
a
had
bit too
people running
late.
them down, but it cost us a lot of time, which
Yeah.
you don't have in these spicy trades with Bargus versus Bargus.
And then I guess you also, once you kill the bomber, then you got to turn around and go back too, and that's like another 20 seconds wasted on grid, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I would really like to see videos of you guys piloting around and then later explaining what you're doing and why you're doing those decisions. I think a lot of not so prone to PvP players would love to see that stuff from the best of the best. Seriously, even if it's just training material you speak over and talk over and explain, that would be very, very interesting. I would also love to watch that stuff. You guys not considering, right?
There's certainly a lot of interesting things going on, but also a lot of team-specific things and things that have developed over the years we wouldn't probably want to share.
Ooh.
I have several like practice matches, like VODs of our practice matches on my channel from years past that aren't very relevant anymore.
You're more than welcome to link them on my Discord, and I'm gonna link them in the YouTube video below, so people can look at them for themselves. Because you have the comms on there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that if you haven't experienced it, you should watch. Yeah, someone in Twitch chat also says that the tactical analysis videos would be very great. I think there is some PvPers who also make like analysis videos that are on a pretty high level, but like seeing it from the AT would be a charm. But I get why you wouldn't want to let every little detail and maybe little trick or little observation that gives you a little benefit. I get why you wouldn't want to let that out.
Yeah, the main thing is you always develop these archetypes. Like you have these semi-tinkers, you have DPS comps, you have control or Evo comps, or like rush comps. And good teams really try to create setups for all of these different archetypes and then test everything against everything, what counters each other, and how you can play with each setup against each setup. While less experienced teams, they consider that way too much theory crafting, and they prefer to focus on certain generalist comps and just try to beat all the different possible archetypes with it. So they feel really comfortable with it, and they know how to handle bans if other people try to ban them out of this comp. So they do well with what they know.
Yeah, but they all also only go so far in the AT, right? But well, I guess some who practiced their go-to comps really well got really far, right? Especially in the losers bracket.
Yeah, there were some really impressive matches.
You have to realize that the Alliance tournament really sets out apart people who are not very good at the game from people who are slightly less bad at the game. So you can do all these archetypes, right? And you can make the most crazy, like 200 APM comp that's super hard to execute, like Purple Mistress. But it doesn't really matter, right? Because you're dumb. Your team is dumb. Like you have 10 people there, they're all dumb. So you might as well just put 3 battleships and 3 battle cruisers in a comp, and then just press F1, and then you win the tournament.
Might as well, or at least you get decently far and get a few skins and maybe
Work
AT
for us
ships.
this year.
It's important to understand what your players are good at, and yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like this
yeah.
is like a legitimate strategy. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I saw it. Like the Abaddon comp that was like pew pew pew. Wow, there's so much gone off grid in such a little time.
Yeah, and you still have to be good to like execute it, right? Because
Yeah.
in the years past, do you know of an alliance called CVA?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to live in Providence. They would bring that almost that exact comp every year for like 5 years, and they would get knocked out in round one. And then we brought it, and we just won the tournament with it. So yeah, just press F1, win the game.
And the pressure gets to you. Don't expect to like fly a really hard comp as good in the tournament as you do in your training. often flying something easier can be much better and more effective.
Oh wow, that's so cool to hear from the Alliance tournament winners. And I also try to do that in my little, like I'm, like my little solo small gang PvP stuff sometimes, where I just fly something one step easier, like one module less to micromanage or something that gives me more room for error, like a faction point on a Kaidi ship instead of a Tech 2 point, where a good pilot could probably manage the Tech 2 overheated range really nicely. I would lose the target. I'm being honest. I would be bad. So, making it a little bit easier for yourself. That from the winners. Boy, this interview is going so great. I had one more question for Soldier because I didn't even just saw one time I was screaming to a friend of mine, "No, Soldier died," because you were the first guy who died. But what were you good at? Like, what kind of ships were you usually flying?
One of the first tournaments I did with Hydra, I learned to just be a damage dealer and apply the damage I have in a bomber, for example, and also running down the logi, like avoiding the main core of a ship, just burning in a circle around, catching the logi, tackling that, so it can be killed. And this tournament, again, I focused on just being a damage dealer, flying the more bigger ships, trying to have more of an impact into fights.
So, if any of our listeners would want to fly in an AT, maybe in a low tier alliance or a mid tier or something, what are the basic requirements that are asked of the people usually to take part in any sort of AT team?
Don't be bad, and optimally be good.
Soldier, maybe some more skill points requirements or something.
Well, skill points are one thing. Like, you have some skills on TQ and you obviously specialize in some roles with your pilots, but it's a very different thing if you enter into an already existing team or try to create your own team from scratch, because that would require a whole new setting up of logistics and theory crafting.
Also, you have to consider, you have to be a strong person emotionally, because you get called retard a lot for 4 months straight. And if you can't handle that and you get your feelings hurt, well, you can't really be on an AT team. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah, your team needs to work well together as well. There were lots of teams that had lots of drama this year again. And
ooh, interesting. Tell me more.
oh well. There was the Exodus drama. AP was no more captain after the first week.
I did not know about that. Damn. That's all the juicy stuff that we're missing from the official. There should be maybe an unofficial Alliance tournament stream or something with commentators that are speaking like Soldat does. That I would enjoy that.
Another very interesting situation was when we were in the middle of our matches and Dexter just disconnected. Like, our team captain suddenly gone.
I heard that one time he had connection issues prior to a fight, but not in the middle of the fight. How
The
fast
thing is,
did he get back on?
we were sitting there and didn't really know what to do. Our backup FC for Hydra also wasn't there, and we were already mentally preparing for hive minding that shit. Just no FC, trying to do what we do. But then Dexter logged back in with his mobile data, and his TeamSpeak ping went up to 300 a couple times. But he said, "Yeah, fuck it, we're still gonna do it. I'm gonna fly this flagship with my mobile data."
Whoa.
And we faced Volta into a rush team. They rushed straight for Dexter in the flagship, and we were very lucky he didn't disconnect.
Was that the massive flag? Was that the massive Bargas brawl?
No, that they were running a Minmata rush into our.
Oh, the Sleipnirs.
Yes.
And the Bargas wasn't running away fast enough, I guess. Or did he get away? I can't remember all the matches because there were just so many of them.
Yeah, they sat on top of him.
Oh boy. Oh, was that the time where he just survived in structure? How much structure was there left?
Match. Like 30%, 35%.
Oh boy.
See, the most important part of that match was the song choice pre-match. So as we're getting moved to the tournament system, Live to Win by Paul Stanley is playing. Now, as you can see during the match, Dexter lived to win, and it wasn't a coincidence. Let me just tell that.
So in the AT, the songs decide the outcome of the fight.
Yes.
I see. I'm learning so much here. It's incredible.
The final match of the final was decided by the song by the Christian rock band Skillet called Hero, and we became heroes during that match.
Oh, that's you have a poetic soul, don't you? I think if you, I think you could have been a rapper.
See, the thing about the Alliance tournament and things like this in general is you have to be one with God. You have to do beautiful things beautifully. You cannot just be an ugly person like Auros.
Ooh, shade has been thrown officially, guys.
Another thing I'm really glad and also kind of sad about is that there has been much less metagaming, like except for the spying on the test server. There are many very advanced under-the-table tactics that, as far as I know, didn't happen that much this year. Like, for example, chat spamming, inviting your opponent in a critical situation during the match. Or
isn't that forbidden?
I'm not sure. Well, that's maybe also a shame that they don't allow all this metagaming. Or, for example, if you know who you're going to fly against and what their players are usually in and specialized in, you can fleet invite them before the match to see who is in a fleet and who isn't. So you can maybe figure out who is flying.
And maybe you know a weak point in their pilots who always gets velocity last, and maybe you have an RD comp and you just primary this guy because he's spamming double click like to align and to get velocity last, and you already watched this somewhere and you know this, and then you're like, ooh, we're gonna RD him. Or maybe not.
Yeah, that certainly happens. w.Hydras shoots me first because then now I do damage.
Oh, I see. So they just get used to things and know things and then just act upon that. So did you one time, because you knew that, have extra tank instead of something else?
You can do that. That's also something I think Tempest is really strong at. But generally, you want to be prepared to everything. And if you really skew your hardness and everything against something specific, things can go wrong much easier.
You guys
Or
talk.
they can go very right.
Yeah, but out-rafting or yourself or your enemy can happen equally.
When you guys mentioned earlier that one has to be a very hard person, or like shouldn't take something to the heart if you get insulted a lot, I can't really imagine that with you guys. Maybe I'm completely wrong and it's a different thing in the AT setting, but whenever I was flying with you and some of the other guys, you guys were so understanding when someone makes a mistake. Everyone admits when they're, doing this wrong or that wrong. I explained this to Erstschlag the other day when I was telling him, because we're doing some NPSI fleets with like more or less Care Bears, and we take them to Losec or Pochwen or somewhere. And I told him, maybe we're gonna bring like a good tackle pilot, and I thought of you, soldier. And then we're not gonna have any trouble finding stuff and tackling stuff because I'm so bad at fast descanning and so on. But I told him there is a certain tier of try-hard PvPers who are gonna be like screaming at new bros if they do something wrong, but at the highest tiers, I kind of think it's not the case. You guys are down to earth and not like harsh and screaming and for no reason. And
well, we like to give each other shit, but when you play for so many years, eventually you realize it's just a game and we're all here to have our hobby and to have our fun.
Yeah, you give each other shit, but in a friendly way, like friends do amongst each other.
No,
really?
No, yeah, like when someone fucks up, like, you fucking retard, like, how the fuck were you out of position that badly? Like fuck you, like, you should know better. Like, it's in a loving way. Like, they should just know better to not get caught like that.
Yeah, but it's in a loving way. It's
in a loving
strong
way.
words, but I mean,
But
friends
when you
call each other
when you
strong
join
words
the
all the
team,
time.
At
when
that
you
point, yeah, you need understanding that you're a team and you're telling each other that because you want each other to be good and to do well.
Yeah, so it's actually helpful and a learning method. Because otherwise, why do it?
yeah, so they get better. Because
Yeah.
if they don't get better, they get thrown off the team because they're
If you
not
would
very good
just
at the
say
game.
something like, "Hey, you were out of position there. You went 10 kilometers too far in that direction," wouldn't that just have the same effect, or do you think it wouldn't be as memorable? So you think there's a bonus effect of being very harsh?
No, because everyone who flies in Hydra think they're like the best at everything they do.
Oh, like the best
So
logi pilot of all of EVE
yeah,
history.
exactly. So you gotta yell at them like you're fucking retarded. Like you're absolutely trash. Like what are you doing?
So, are you still playing at TQ a lot, Soldat?
No, I haven't played TQ for about 9 years.
Oh wow! Are you considering coming back? Because I would like to have you as my logi, and if I die, I get to scream at someone who's the best.
No, it's a dead game. Come on.
That's not dead. That's
It's
such a
dead.
bullshit.
It's
You
dead.
can make fun in
It's
this
dead.
game happen all the time. You just have to have fun in general, and then the fun is gonna come to you, one way or another. If you horribly fail, or if you get lucky with targets that you catch. Nah. If you're having fun with friends and just see it as a common thing you do while you chit chat and shoot the shit, I think there's
Have
a
you
lot of
heard of
fun in
Dota
that.
2?
Yeah, that's like,
Yeah,
so
much
that's
more
what you
fun with
do?
your friends.
Really?
That's what everyone does after the tournament, mate.
A friend of mine is playing the 2 with his future wife all the time, so I guess there's something to it. So,
Life
well,
priorities change. In my experience, when people quit EVE, they eventually quit gaming altogether.
I don't know about that. I know a bunch of people who play other games, but more casually too, where it's not so demanding to be informed within, like within a month, always be informed on top and being logged in every week at least. Because then you have 4 weeks vacation, maybe a stressful work weeks, and then, there's already 8 weeks gone and you haven't logged in. That happens to people, and then they just like, EVE is not for me anymore, but I play casually other games. But I'm not sure how the percentages are.
Well, I have no idea either. But I guess we all have different ways of playing this game. There's a lot of variety in gameplay you can have, and how casual or try hard you want to play this.
And you won, obviously, the AT for the first time, and you were dreaming of that, I guess. And for how long have you been flying with Hydra in the ATs?
If you count the Anger Opens and all these non-officials, I think this was my 4th tournament.
Well, yeah, that counts, for sure. I mean, practice, right? And they were also real tournaments against...
Yeah, but also not under the Hydra name, but like Warlords and just...
Sure. Hey, you guys always
similar
have different
players.
names. And were you kind of like dreaming of winning the AT before it started even? Or...
It was very much the goal we were shooting for, definitely.
And does it feel like you imagined it would feel?
Oh yeah, it's been an amazing experience throughout
Oh,
the whole thing.
man. What do you guys get
Better than
to...
expected.
What do you guys win in terms of ships and everything?
Well, number 1 place is getting 40 cruisers and 40 frigates. And place number 2 is getting 20 of each, and number 3, 10 of each. And it scales down into the lower places.
And do you get anything besides that? Besides the AT ships?
We get skins for winning matches in general.
And an
I
invite
think there's
to...
also some flags. I'm not sure. There was in the past sometimes.
Isn't CCP also inviting all AT winners to the FanFest or something?
Not as far as I know.
Oh, maybe there was some other
I haven't
tournament.
heard of that. That sounds exciting.
There was 2 years ago. There was some local, like, German and Spanish and so on, little fan fests where the winners of some tourneys got to fly to the Iceland Fan Fest, as far as I know. But yeah, that would be fun. But I also guess a bit expensive for maybe like an 18-person team. Expensive for CCP, that is.
They got
Yeah.
that Chinese money.
They did never
They
do
can
it
make
for
it
the
happen.
tournament, but they did it before for these, like, when they had their world tour and they were doing little tournaments in each place,
Yeah.
they were inviting the winners of those to battle it out in Iceland.
Oh yeah, that's what one of the guys who stayed with you in Berlin. He won, right? I think I remember. So, is there any more stuff you guys would like to add for the general public that doesn't know a lot about the AT?
Don't do it. It's too much work.
I heard that a lot, and also that frightened me enough to not ever try to, try to
No,
get.
you should try. You should try. You should
Ah,
definitely try.
what I would
You won't win, but
on-
you'll try. You'll give it a good try. That's good.
It's a unique experience in this game to just get teleported by GMs into Drover space and see your team in this row after teleporting, warping to the arena.
what I would
That'd be a
maximum
great experience.
what I would maximum do is maybe go for trainings. Just be there to be a training buddy for a team and get to practice.
Yeah, many say training is the greatest part of AT because you get reliable fights 2 times a week. And they are usually fair, amazing fights you can have fun with and really develop your own skill with.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do. And without the hardcore pressure of having, to perform in the AT and then also having to show up for every training. I think that would be cool. I think there is such positions, right? As like casual training buddy or something.
Yeah, for larger alliances, they generally have larger teams, and they can also practice in house. So you will be able to practice on a more loose schedule. You don't have to be very hardcore with it, but also realize you'll probably won't fly at all in the actual tournament. So if that's
Sure.
your goal, you
Yeah,
actually
that's
have to
my
get
goal,
good.
not to fly in the Alliance tournament. Yep. Does one still have to join the actual alliance to be able to fly there?
Mercenaries are here to stay. You don't need to change your alliance to
Nice.
enter a team.
Nice.
The thing about being a mercenary without your own team is people are worried about spies.
Yes, of course, but I guess with me, they know how lazy I am and how little I remember. I mean, that's kind of working in my favor for this type of stuff. Guys, in the Twitch chat, do you guys have any more questions for the two amazing guests I have on tonight? What was your favorite song anyway, each of you, for this AT? The pre-match song. Favorite pre-match song.
I like the Dune rave song. That was kind of fun.
Oh, I gotta listen to that later. Dune rave song. I'm gonna write it down. And Soldat?
The Dune Rave song was not sanctioned. There is a sanctioned list of songs. That song was definitely not sanctioned.
What was your favorite one?
My favorite pre-match song is Disturbed, Indestructible, because I am indestructible.
I
that's
see.
What you have to take home. That's
well,
what you have to take in your heart.
You didn't
you get moved to that system. In your heart, you know you are indestructible, and you know what happens. You don't die. You go 100-0, 100-0. There is no other option. You do not lose a single ship. Not a single ship even gets past shields.
I guess you didn't die because you didn't fly, right?
Exactly, and that's
See?
my second point. Don't fly in the Alliance tournament. It's so much better.
And you were basically, maybe, I'm assuming, you were hyping up the guys and trying to keep the spirits up and maybe helping in the background with the meta stuff while the others were
my
fighting.
official title was Morale Officer, yes.
Morale, that was the official title, so I was guessing correct. How does it feel to be the winner chicken dinner, guys? I knew you could do it. Well, I already asked them kind of that, right?
Feels so good. Fucking finally.
Probably
I
the happiest I've ever felt in my life was literally 10 years ago when I was 16 years old. I won the Alliance tournament, and since then it's been downhill. So probably if you're not very happy in your life, don't win the Alliance tournament because you'll never top that feeling.
I see. It's kind of my like my biggest bomb run that I did, and yeah, then later you find out, oh, all of that meta is gone and you can't do it ever again. Grable was asking a question. Were you scared of any matchup, like really scared? And I have a question to Grable. Do you mean when they landed on grid and saw what the opponent had, or just generally the team they were scared of?
I would say the best of one against w.Hydras, because we both fielded something we hadn't tested against each other, and it was very unpredictable what would happen.
And what were each of you fielding?
They brought this BC Octodad kind of comp from a previous tournament with lots of battle cruisers.
So
And I
a
believe
lot
we
of
had
battle cruisers
large
with
lasers
long range or short range?
with long range weapons with the ability to kite, but also brawl in, do maximum damage.
I see.
Just lots of medium-sized hulls.
So, Grable, you got your answer. That was the oh shit, we brought the wrong. Oh, well, he also has a question like, did you have a oh shit, we brought the wrong comp scared moment? So
that
just
doesn't
100%
really
time.
happen. Have you seen the movie Limitless?
Oh my god, you got me with your analogies again. No, I haven't, but please indulge me.
So in the movie Limitless, the main character consumes a type of drug that supercharges his brain.
Yeah,
It's kind of like drinking about 15 Monster Energy drinks.
I remember that movie now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Kadesh Priestess, the main theory crafter of our team this year, in
Really,
Hydra
Kadesh
Reloaded.
is the main theory crafter? Damn, he was shit talking always so much. I never thought he would be like the main theory crafter of the winning AT team.
So Kadesh Priestess, he is like the main character in Limitless. He sees everything. Also, you know that scene in Hangover when they go to the casino to make the money back? He's kind of like that, but with Alliance tournaments. He sees everything. There is no oh shit, we brought the wrong comp. He predicts every single matchup perfectly. He does not lose.
I
He's a god.
honestly, sometimes when I saw the two fleets land on grid, or you as a viewer got to see the matchup, I thought like, how did they know? Like, how is that possible? Did they spy? Did they know what they were gonna bring, or do you just guess really well? Because sometimes it felt like this is like hard counter to this, and way how could they predict?
That is actually understanding your opponent and what they can do, and also the meta, how you can counter it, and what you push your opponent into with the bans.
So you're just Sherlock Holmesing the shit by deduction. You're like, oh, okay, they got this, and this comp. They cannot bring these 5 because of our bans, and then that leaves them with these 3. And I know the team captain always liked this one the most, and then you're like, we're gonna bring hot counter to this one. Or
there's of course always the chance that you overthink stuff and you start a spiral, and you need people that stop you from doing that and saying keep it simple. But there are true masterminds working here in the background.
You have to realize when a team fights Hydra Reloaded, they are scared. They are in absolute agony. They don't know what to do. They crumble under the pressure. It's that simple. So what you do is you bring 3 battleships, you bring 3 battlecruiser, you press F1, you win the game. Because the other team, like, they left their computer already. They're crying in the corner. They have nothing. They can do nothing.
it didn't always seem like that.
Yeah, in one of the matches against w.Hydras that actually happened. They had these phantasms and EOS, lots of control. It looked like they were really trying to be ready for absolutely everything we could do. And we just went all in, and they couldn't handle it.
And then
Because they didn't
3
see
battleships, 3 battlecruisers, and you press F1 and you win the game.
So
That's
there's
it.
so much psychological warfare that you think, okay, or you're assuming what your enemy is thinking and what they think you're gonna do, because you always acted like that in the training, and then you do something completely mad, you go all in, and they're like, what the fuck? And they're shocked and like stunned a little bit. Or am I understanding that wrong?
Yeah, you go for full circle. They know you can do some crazy shit. They know like all the crazy execution heavy comps you can do. They know you can dismantle them like that. But then you just bring F1 and you win.
Oh, well, right, we got it. Bring F1 and win. Another chat question was brought up earlier. Why did Templis lose?
Who?
I guess that was the answer. Do you guys in the chat, do you have any more questions? Also, if one of you were to consume illegal goods in the country you were in, would you do it in an AT setting, or would that make you too calm?
No, didn't even drink coffee.
I've been on ketamine for 2 years.
I'm falling off the chair almost. This is the best. I hope, I'm going to put this on YouTube, by the way, and I hope a lot of people get to hear it because I'm entertained for sure. Last question. A T-ship filament roam from Jida when? Graybill. Graybill was asking that.
We'll see. A victory roam will happen.
Victory roam will happen. Well, I guess as far as I know, you guys, if you take out your AT ships, you do it relatively safely. So, I think if you guys look in the next year on Z-Kill and look at for those ships, Hydra is gonna do some of those kills. Right? Or am I wrong?
No, mate, we're all playing Dota 2. We're not gonna log on for 9 more months, and then next year, next Alliance tournament. Hopefully they allow them.
Transformer, how often do AT ships get used? Look for the different AT ship names on Z-Kill, and you're gonna see a bunch of people who use them. Some of them are not AT pilots, they are just really in-game rich players who bought them for ISK, and then they try to use them safely, and then they get von hold. That's the terminology. Then they get killed by very skilled people who hunt those people down who use their AT ships too predictably, maybe, or too carelessly. But also, he's really, really good at what he's doing. Actually use them, right? Yeah. Yep. They use them, but they could use them more often, I think. Because it's very rare you get to see an AT ship on grid. And then, of course, you're gonna be like, oh, let's get him. And of course, you're gonna feed because they're very good at what they do. At least the people who earned them, not just the people who bought them for ISK. Man, I probably should have written down more questions because I bet I had more in my head. Because
the hard thing is finding players you can fly these ships with, you can trust. So they won't just turn on you and kill you when you're in your first fight, or they have the first opportunity to do it.
I guess you just fly with your bros, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you fly with the people who you won the AT with, the likelihood of them betraying you is probably pretty low, I assume.
Casper has flown with people that were with him for over a year until they pulled the trigger.
Yeah, you remember that TikTok post where he lost. Oh, I should keep that for the next interview with TikTok. But it's on them. They're losing a good friend if they do that.
Absolute legends. Good on them. Good job. Whoever did that, good job. You did a good thing.
Yeah, I
Fuck
can already
Casper
hear.
24.
By the way, for the people who are not watching this live on Twitch, Casper is in the chat and he doesn't mean it. Or maybe he means it in a very naughty way.
In the most respectful way possible. I hope Casper loses every single AT ship and dime and ISK to his name.
Well, he can lose all of that. It's just Space Pixel. He's still gonna have his friends, right?
No, he needs to lose those two.
Casper responded with a a very gentleman-like FKU, Soldat.
Yeah, he doesn't swear. It's like really weird. He's like a grown-ass man. It's kind of cringe if you ask me.
He basically said free ketchup for you, Soldat. So that's what that meant. Hi Casper, 1 out of 10. Which chat is pretty good. Do you guys have anything you want to chit chat about still?
No, pretty much done from my side.
I would like to suck some dick. I would like to thank CCP for putting on this amazing tournament and for allowing us to win and not banning us so far after winning. That has been really great, a really great experience. Thank you very much, CCP.
There was
I would
a
also. Sorry, are we banned?
there was a question earlier regarding the rules. Did you guys like the rules this year?
They were interesting, yeah.
And
I think they created a great meta, which was a really fun and enjoyable tournament to watch.
Yeah,
I think so
personally,
too.
I think this was one of the best rule sets like the Alliance tournament has ever had, because the effect they had in practice, the kind of compositions people brought, they were very exciting. A lot of damage, a lot of trading, and I think overall CCP has made a lot of strides to give more incentives to bad teams to participate in the Alliance tournament. So good job.
Or to not so practice teams, right? They might be
No,
good
bad,
for how much
bad,
experience they have.
bad.
Everyone is bad. So you guys
You're
are bad too.
you're either bad or you're slightly less bad.
Slightly less, and you guys are slightly less bad.
You just need to be better than your opponent.
That's
You
true.
don't need to
Yeah,
be good.
that's true. So you hear it here, guys. The AT winners admit that they're bad at the game, but slightly less bad.
Only because we won. Like if we lost, we would just be bad. So
you, you mean come in second?
yeah, exactly.
Well, I still consider getting anywhere in that region to be a great victory.
Well, yeah, that's why you're not playing the Alliance tournament and not winning
Right?
it.
Right? I wouldn't have the drive to train 3 times a week for how many hours? 3 hours at least? Damn.
You're either the best or you're trash.
Love you,
right?
mean it.
You're either a winner or you're a loser. We are winners this year. Everyone else is just a loser.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to the second winner then later, which is TikTok from We Form Volta, and if he wants to bring any of his Volta friends along, he's also welcome to. Because that should be interesting. Should I... Hello, brother. I'm in the middle of an interview, but I'm gonna talk to you soon. My little brother just joined chat, by the way. So, do you have any questions I should ask anyone from Volta about about the AT and their experience?
Yeah. How does it feel to be trash?
All right, maybe some serious questions.
No, I'm actually.
I'm really wondering what they expected from us in the serious matches, what they thought we would be feeling. Because I think we were very unpredictable, because we showed so many different things.
Yeah, and also you were unpredictable in the way when you lost and I lost my channel points.
For sure.
Because I was like, they're gonna win for sure, and bet all my channel points, and then they were gone when you guys lost against Volta. But I guess it was a tactical losing, right? Wink, wink.
Oh, I'm actually curious. Like after we went down to the losers bracket, at any point did they think they had even a monicum of chance to win?
All right, I'm gonna ask that, and I'm gonna say that it comes from you.
Thank you.
Wow, these are rough questions. Any more friendly questions you would have?
Well, why did TikTok stop at the end of... Nah. Well, I'm just happy I killed TikTok in his Kitsune in this drone match, even though we lost that one.
Why did he stop what? What
I-
was...
He was sitting on a beacon, and I saw him sitting still, and I was like, "You die now. It doesn't matter, but you die now. Fuck you."
So he was the one sitting on a beacon, the thing that you were doing quite a lot in 2 matches, I think.
Yeah, I also did this beacon hopping. It's kind of fun and a very AT unique thing. Enjoyed that.
All right.
And also I did that in a second match on purpose with the Osprey Navy because we needed more time for our next match to prepare.
I heard
Because the
this.
match before they gave us the 4 minutes for the bands. So we were like, all right, let's go for time here. Take it slow.
By some time, so the meta directors basically could haggle out what kind of comp to bring for the next one and what kind of bands.
Yeah, it didn't help that much, but it felt
Well,
good for myself.
yeah, you definitely hopped around a bunch there. I mean, the commentators. I don't know. Have you actually rewatched any of the matches so far?
Yeah, I skipped to some interesting ones. Just
How is it
obviously some we don't want to watch again.
How is it to watch yourself?
It's weird, but fun.
Wait, you don't own a mirror?
And also, isn't there a tool where you can actually, like, I know that Eve and T made this kind of viewing tool where you can watch the game
Is that still a thing?
basically
in 3D?
on grid. I'm not sure if that's still a thing.
I believe that was with the old API, and they don't have the tool
Oh.
available anymore.
Oh, that would be so cool to watch, like every little detail. And maybe, if you lost and you already have beef with one of your teammates, you're like looking for that one mistake he made. I could actually imagine people doing that. At least that's my expectation from some AT players.
No, that's it goes into what we were talking about before. If one small mistake decides a match, you lost it when you came in, basically.
So there
Because
needs to be room for small mistakes.
Yeah, you bring 3 Abaddons, 3 Oracles, and you win the game.
I see. And one question just popped into my head. Did you have like matches or times where you guys were really screaming at each other and were not on the same page on what to do next?
Well, there's always a team leader, or like at least meant to be an FC that makes the calls, the final decisions. So you need to avoid that possibly in your tournament match. But it was certainly stressful when any, for example, bumped apart our Scorpion navies and we couldn't transfer cap.
Oh my god, I wish wow, Soldat, you got recordings of that, right?
There's a recording of one of the matches from several years ago where it was really hectic, but this year it was extremely calm in comparison. Dexter did a really good job of staying calm during the matches. That was really impressive. And just relatively to how we've communicated in the past, the guys have done a really great job of like being very calm and very composed during the matches. So the audio this year isn't the most exciting, but still very, very cool.
And was there in between matches maybe some disputes on what to bring, where people were really, like harsh with each other?
No, shout out to Duncan here. I think he kept us in line and kept everyone calm in the preparations as well.
Wow. I think that stuff behind the scenes also, I would guess, also has a lot to do with winning or not winning. If you lose your composure and so on, and
It won't help anyone.
yeah. I just wonder why all the ships disappeared from my screen.
Especially in the finals, like finals is basically 90% morale. It doesn't even matter what you bring.
Interesting. G to undock, no ships. Or maybe they're just not on my screen anymore. Alright, I think we did it, boys. This was amazing. I hope to get to talk to you guys again when I remember more questions. Or when something else comes up that might be interesting. And I thank you guys both for your time. And, well, I don't have any more questions, I think. Twitch chat, if you guys have one last minute question. Can you make a YouTube video of what goes behind, please? Pulsar Infinity, is that a naughty comment or you mean behind the scenes? A YouTube video of what goes. I think no AT team would like to do that, but.
I like Maronette's question. You mean when Hydra wins again? That's a silly question. We're getting second for 5 more years.
Oh, so the curse is going to continue, but it had a break for 1 year.
Because it needed to pull us back in slightly, so we try again, right? If we got second this year, we wouldn't try again. So it's just this perpetual suffering that you go through. It's the sins of the father that I mentioned before.
I see. Now we're going full circle from the beginning of the interview. That's pretty nice. That's usually a good sign. Thank you guys both. It's been amazing. Chat with you. I'm gonna
Thank you for
check
having
when TikTok can come on. I don't know. He has written me.
Thanks for having us. I'll also have to bounce now, but see you in space.
Oh man, I want to fly with you again. But you guys are probably not gonna fly Eve for a bunch of weeks, right?
Yeah, the AT burnout is real. Time
Yeah.
for some real life.
Well, I wish you all the best in real life and all the niceties in Eve. Have a good time, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and see ya.